Now, there are a few people who know more about hockey than me. Now, let me rephrase that. Everyone knows more about hockey than me. When I came to this country, I tried. You know, I did. I went to go and see the Leafs play, and I read hockey magazines. After a while, I thought, forget this. So instead, David Menzies is with me to tell me all. Now, it's not so much about hockey itself. It's about two major characters who are clashing, and, of course, an important social issue brought into the debate as well.
Yes, indeed. Brian Burke is now part of an anti-homophobia campaign.
Oh, joy.
Oh, by the way, I'll do my Brian Burke impression. He's one of these guys, Michael, he's always got the necktie like this, and he's sweating to make it think that, you know, he's working 24/7, right?
I thought that was a sign of a heart attack.
No, yeah, if only.
No, come on.
Yeah, a bad joke. But no.
So he's the GM of the Leafs?
He's the GM, and he's a professional bully. And he's the kind of guy that when he doesn't like what's said about him or his team, he'll try to get you fired. I know 2 journalists that have been fired because of Brian Burke.
Really? You know this for a fact?
Yeah, I know somebody, I'm not going to give the name, at the Sun.
Well, you may have to if he tries to sue you for saying that.
Oh, no, this is well known. And he tried to get, you know, he met his Waterloo with Don Cherry. He tried to get Don Cherry taken off the air.
Don Cherry's gone after him. Actually, that's can we see a video, please, of Don Cherry being Don Cherry? Let's have a look at that now.
The blood's in the water, and it's a funny thing, though. Here's what kills me. Burke goes to my bosses and says, I'm a bad guy because I said something vicious, I think the words were, about his coach. 2 weeks later, he fires him. Figure that one out, folks.
Now, I like Don as a person. I mean, I'm not a hockey fan, so I'm not even going to comment on that side of it. But, so the Leafs have done badly for years and years. This man has just as bad as anyone else. He's no better, no worse, I suppose. He went behind Don Cherry's back to make some complaints. That sounds rather small-minded to me. But why doesn't it just end there? So there are two blowhards shouting at each other. Why is that an issue?
Brian Burke has a PR disaster on his hands, Michael. This will be probably the 7th year in a row the Leafs don't make the playoffs, 3rd year under his stewardship. And remember, this was a team built on truculence. Yeah. You know, rock'em sock'em rock. There was supposed to be a tough team that was going to make it. He's in a PR disaster now because he didn't do anything at the trading deadline to improve this team.
Why didn't he do that?
That's a good question. I would say it's incompetence as being a GM because, you know, Rick Nash was there, you know, as the savior of this team, and somehow there was a stumbling block. He went up against Cherry, like I said. He met his Waterloo with them. Can't get him fired. But you know what? You know what it reminds me of? Burke is the kind of bully, right, the kind of low-class guy that Sean Avery was. Remember Sean Avery? He's the guy that said about Alicia Cuthbert, she's my sloppy seconds.
The only reason I know about him is because he said that.
Oh, okay, another example.
Disgusting thing to say about a woman.
He got into a fight with a player in Philadelphia, Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons is a black player, right? Sean Avery needed a win to overcome that little PR black guy. So he said, you know what? He said an anti-gay slur to me, right? And
hold on. Who said that to him?
Sean Avery alleges Simmons said
Sean
that
Avery
to him.
gay?
No, he's not.
Oh, so
no.
Why would a guy make an anti-gay slur to someone who wasn't gay?
Because just like Burke, get on the gay bandwagon if you want to reform your image. That's when Sean Avery said, I support gay marriage, and as you well know, Damien Goddard, Rogers Sportsnet, that's when he tweeted. He had the temerity to tweet, Michael, I believe marriage is between a man and a woman. Well, where is Damien Goddard today?
Well, he's gone to a better place. I mean, but no, I don't mean he's dead. I mean he's working for another organisation.
Yeah.
What happened there was when that started, an agent who merely said, I believe marriage is one man and one woman, was then crucified. I mean, the vicious attacks on him, the tweets and the threats. Yeah. And all Damien did was to say, I'm sorry, I support him. I think marriage is one man and one woman. He lost his job shortly afterwards. Of course, it had nothing to do, you know, just hours later being fired. However, what's this got to do with Burke and Cherry? So some thug who's made a most vile misogynistic comment about a woman then says that he was a victim of homophobia, even though he's not gay. This is why I watch soccer and not hockey, David. What's this got to do with Burke and Cherry?
No, what it has to do with, what I'm saying is just like Sean Avery, to recreate his public persona, Michael, to get some good PR, suddenly Brian Burke is all about gay rights. You know, people in this city, in Toronto...
Wasn't his son...
Yeah.
Well, so you can understand why he would have if his son was gay, it would involve him in some way.
Yeah, well, I've heard rumors.
His son died.
His son tragically died in 2010.
Tragedy, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And but I would say that I've heard rumors that Brian Burke was this was a source of embarrassment. The fact that his son.
But you've heard rumors. That doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But the fact is, you look at the timing of this, pro-gay campaign. Look, people in.
So I wasn't aware. So there's now a pro-gay campaign that Brian Burke is part of?
That's right. There's a video that's been shot. It features NHL stars. It says, something like right to play. I want to be clear about something, Michael. Bullying should never occur. If you're gay, fat, freckle-faced, black, whatever.
Bald.
No, but wait a minute. I know it should go without saying, but you know that there is a different agenda at play right now, where somehow gay bullying is somehow on a special plane.
Right. So Don Cherry and Brian Burke are going at it with each other. To be honest, I couldn't really care less.
Yeah.
So they're shouting at each other and threatening and so on, and behaving like children, actually. And then Brian Burke, whose son was gay, who's now dead, I'm sorry for that, nothing to do with his sexuality, he died in a car accident. Brian Burke is now... sort of supports gay causes, and there's one right now that he's going to bat for.
That's right.
And you're saying he's doing this to try and clean up, resurrect his image, which has been diminished and dented because he attacked Don Cherry.
Because he's a bully and he's incompetent. He can't get the Leafs in the playoffs. So imagine that. He is riding on the coattails of his dead son.
Oh, no, David, what you just... No, hold on a minute.
No, I believe that, Michael.
I don't care. You can believe that the earth is made of cheese. Okay. You just said... No, David, you just said something which is pretty bad. No, come on. Whatever this man is, I don't know him. I don't really want to know him. But you've just said that he's exploiting his son's death. That's outrageous.
Michael, I know he's a bully. I know he's taken away people's livelihood and tried to take away other people's livelihood.
And you've jumped from that to saying he's exploiting his son's death.
Well, it looks like that to me.
You may think it, David, but that's an outrageous thing to say about a man who probably still grieves about his boy who's dead.
Well, you look at the time. Well, no, I said it's a tragedy. But what...
Do you have any evidence that he's doing this?
I said it looks that way to me.
Well, that's not evidence, David.
Okay, no,
I'm sorry, I disagree with you on this.
Michael,
I don't agree with the campaign. Okay. I think that the way Damien Goddard was dealt with was obnoxious. Yep. But to say that he's exploiting his son's death, is an outrageous comment, David.
Michael, can we just get back to basics here? And that is, he is the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
He may be a failure at that. That's different.
No, but people in this town are starving for... and the benchmark is so low. It's not for a Stanley Cup. We just wanted to make the playoffs.
David, my advice to you, you see, this is where you should be careful because this is a very delicate issue. I'm not talking... You know me. I mean, I will talk about the gay issue. I don't care. Do whatever you want. But you're talking about a man's son who died. How old was he? 30 or something?
I don't know.
He was a kid. I mean, a young man. I can't even comprehend what that must be like. To use words like exploitation and jumping on bandwagon, I'm sorry, David. I can't accept that. Really can't and won't accept that. Anyway.
Burke is a bully.
Okay, we've established that, and Don Cherry is not.
Well, wait a minute. Have you ever seen Cherry try to get somebody fired because he didn't like what
I like Don as a person.
Seriously.
All I'm saying is, you know what? This is why I watch soccer, but one thing I have to say, the idea that after all that possession and all that brilliance, we could lose to bloody Manchester United drives me crazy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Michael.